Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. I'm your friendly Santa, Brian. And here's some Reddit.
I'm Amber.
You were a Santa, Amber.
Oh, well, I don't have my hat on. Am I still Santa Amber if I don't have my hat
You have a hat on. They can't see you. She has a hat on, people. Don't believe Santa Amber. Santa Amber is just trying to ruin Christmas for everyone.
on? No.
Thanks, Santa Amber. And here's some Reddit. I don't know. Oh, Santa Amber looks sad. Santa Amber is pouting. I won't keep your stories from you any longer because you've been good people, good folks out there, and for all the good folks out there, I read stories. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Offending the Bride and Groom? Hey Reddit, throwaway because in real life people know about my main account. One of my friends, Katie, a fake name, no, that's a real name, is getting married soon. And while hanging out, she mentioned that she will be sending us her Venmo so that we could, quote, pitch in for the wedding. I was confused, so I asked her what she meant. She said that since she and her soon to be husband couldn't afford the wedding party, that they were requesting people to send them cash as well. I come from a culture where parents usually pay for the weddings. Or sometimes the soon to be weds will do it for themselves, or borrow money, which they return back. I was confused, and I asked Kate when they would be returning the money then, because I didn't really think we were so close as to being able to borrow money from each other, and she probably got offended or something like that. My other friend Maya, another fake name, who is also from my culture, then explained to me that it's apparently normal to chip in for your friends' weddings here. Again, I got confused and somewhat offensive, asking if it's a wedding party, why do guests need to pay then? Kate got really mad and called me a jerk for embarrassing her in front of everyone. Her fiance later called me to say that I really hurt their feelings, and now I am being disinvited from the wedding. I'm wondering if I went wrong and maybe I was ignorant. Maya is citing this as some sort of culture shock. Am I the jerk? How do I fix this? Edit info, we are in the US. All right, folks. What do you think? Is OP a jerk in this situation?
Not the jerk.
This is odd. I mean, I can certainly understand being requesting help with a wedding if you can't afford a wedding, but um I mean, generally the bride and groom do foot the bill for their own wedding, or the parents of the bride and groom foot the bill. I haven't really heard of the case where the bride and groom go around soliciting money. Sometimes they do. Like, I do hear about it occasionally in these Reddit stories, but that always seems like a really foreign concept to me. I mean, usually they're for like things like destination weddings. It's difficult because certainly the bride and groom had one expectation, and they weren't going to be able to afford the wedding probably if they invited all these people and no one helped. So they were just trying to save themselves from going broke over a wedding. But in that case, maybe they should have had a smaller wedding. That's kind of how I view it. So I don't think OP's the jerk in this situation, but I don't think that this is as common as your other friend makes it sound like. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, the audacity of announcing your Venmo to have people pay for a party. The disinvite is a bonus. Now you don't have to throw money away on gifts either. Yeah, I've never heard of a single culture where openly begging for money to host a wedding wasn't tacky and rude. Plan the wedding party that you can afford. Can't afford a wedding celebration? Then get married without the party aspect. Really want the wedding of your dreams? Then save up for it. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for calling my husband ridiculous and refusing to take the list of expectations that he gave to me for his, quote, birthday month? Unless those expectations were, I want a hug every single day. I think that's a little excessive to have a birthday month. My husband is turning the big 3-0 next month. It's a big deal for him clearly, and he wanted to rightfully be pampered and feel special on this occasion. But one thing that came up is a list that he called his birthday month expectations. I didn't know what that meant till he started reading the list out loud, which consisted of things that he expects throughout the entire month. To give a few examples, A, he's not to be asked to do any type of chore or cook or clean for a month. B, he gets to play with his Xbox for hours on end without me interrupting or nagging him about it. C, he's not paying his part of the rent this month. D, these just keep getting more and more ridiculous as we go. D, he gets to go out with his friends whenever he wants. C, and maybe F, he gets to skip out on any given work day and sleep in without being bothered to wake up or drive to our son to school or do an emergency fixes. In other words, he wants a month-long vacation and time off from his responsibilities as a partner and a father. I said, "Are you being serious right now?" And he made a face and said, "Oh, no worries, this will only last a month, my birthday month." I called him ridiculous and said absolutely not, and I do not agree on anything on that list, and said that his expectations for his birthday month was out of line. Now, I have to mention that we both work, and I do a majority of the household chores and the majority of our son's care, as well as a majority of the rent, bills, and internet payments. And I cannot afford to do what he's expecting me to do because we're struggling already, and I need his help, especially now. Not for him to make demands. He pitched a fit and is giving me grief about how I'm being selfish towards his wants, and that in my place, he would have agreed to do all he could to make my birthday month the happiest month of the year for me. I argued that birthday month is unheard of and just flat out ridiculous, but he said that I don't understand because his parents did this for him for years, and so did his friends. He's never told me this. So, as his wife, I should be happy to do it as well, but I declined and refused to take it and kept arguing about it, but he hasn't stopped talking about how disappointed he was that I treat his birthday like that, and he's been avoiding being near me, making me feel like maybe that I went too far here. Am I the jerk? Alright, folks. What do you think?
So much not the jerk, but can I have a birthday month?
Amber wants a birthday month.
Although I just want presents all the time.
Amber just wants presents. The thing is that if you folks were in a financial position and you were in a place where this was feasible and, he could easily do this without like impacting you in any way, shape, or form, maybe it might be more acceptable at that point in time. I would still say that's a lot to expect out of somebody in order to make a birthday month a good time for you. But in this particular case where OP's already doing so much, and then on top of that, their boyfriend, I guess I feel like he should be a boyfriend and not a husband.
He should be an ex.
He should be an ex, Amber says. I think that this is just a lot to, like, who celebrates a birthday for a whole month and expects basically to have no responsibilities whatsoever? I think that if he really wants this, then he needs to ask his parents to foot the bills for all of his finances and everything, and that they can come over and babysit and stuff like that while, I don't know, like, if this is really what his expectation is. This is such a odd expectation. I really think that he is delusional here. I don't think that this is something that many people would be willing to do. So, if OP, and I mean, like, OP's already paying, like, a majority of bills and everything like that. So, like, if OP wanted to take a birthday month off, would he be willing to do that? I know he's saying he would, but, like, when push comes to shove, I'm guessing that he would be like, well, babe, I would love to give you a birthday month, but we can't afford it. We'll get kicked out of our house if we don't pay rent.
Yeah, he's gotta do Opie's birthday month first.
Yeah, OP gets a birthday month first as collateral. He should have been saving up for his birthday month if he really wanted this that badly. So yeah, I mean, OP's not the jerk in this case, and I think their husband is delusional. Plain and simple. Anyhow, take care and good luck. LOL, if I pulled that on my wife, I'd expect divorce papers for my birthday present, not the jerk. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry I laughed when I saw your comment, but it's true. And that was from OP. Oh, oh no. Someone tells me that. Something tells me that OP isn't happy right now. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Refusing to Help My ADHD Husband Until He Gets His Treatment? Throwaway because friends are on Reddit. I'm a 27-year-old female and my husband is a 35-year-old male, and we've been married for 2 years. Until the last year, I would have said that things were great. My husband has had an ADHD diagnosis since he was a child and has always done well with medication. He took his meds through school and has managed to hold down a good job with only mild symptoms. About 6 months after we got married, I noticed that he started to change. He was a lot more forgetful, irritable, and he started doing a lot of impulsive spending. I'm a medical resident, and knowing that he had ADHD, I asked if his meds were giving him trouble. He said that he had stopped taking them. I tried to reason with him, but he has been reading some blogs and become convinced that he doesn't need meds. He said that ADHD was his superpower and that I should love him whether or not he's on them. Things have gotten worse quickly over the last year. He used to help out with chores and now can't even load a dishwasher without losing focus and wandering off. We keep our money separate, and even with a good amount of expendable income, he's gone through a lot of his savings and has trouble paying for his section of the bills. He explodes verbally sometimes and has alienated one of his best college friends over a silly argument in a way that's not likely to be forgiven. He won't acknowledge any of this that's happened and gets angry when I've pointed out that I've been covering the lion's share of the expenses for the last 4 months and trying to take care of the entire house while also doing my residency. I reached the end of my tether when he asked me for more money to cover his car payments for a third time. I told him that I would keep the utilities on, but his car, insurance, and other expenses were on him, and there would be no more handouts. I also told him that I can't keep burning the candle at both ends, so his laundry and meals were now on him to prepare. This lasted for less than a week before he started asking for help with his car again. I told him that the only condition on which I would be helping him is if he started back on some of his ADHD treatments. Not necessarily the same meds if he didn't like them, but something, because this was getting unbearable. We had a fight about it, and he told me that I should help him because he has ADHD, so he can't help it and needs support. I told him that he has spent the last year telling me that ADHD is his superpower, so he can superpower his way into regular car payments and laundry, then without my help, or get the treatment that he needs to be helped with. He called me an ableist and stomped off. I talked to a psych friend who said that quip might have been a little unkind, but the boundaries are reasonable. My sister-in-law is angry and says that I shouldn't force him to take meds if he doesn't want them. All I know is that it's exhausting, and as much as it hurts, the next step is leaving him. Update, I messaged him this morning and asked if we could talk about the state of things this evening over dinner since I'm off, and he said not until I apologize and accept that my attitude is a problem, not him. So I've made arrangement to stay in an Airbnb to clear my head for the next few days so I can at least relax properly between call shifts. I'll reevaluate when I'm not feeling so worked up. This has been impacting my work and health too much, and reading these replies, I'm starting to realize that. I hope that he comes around, but I've worked too hard to go down with him. This, I think, is a really sad tale. The thing is that ADHD can be a really difficult condition to manage, and, ADHD is something, if you can be treated with meds and be successful, that's really great. And not everyone who is on ADHD can be treated with meds. ADHD is an executive order dysfunction, and this isn't medical advice, and none of this is medical advice, and I'm not a medical doctor, so please don't take it like that. What I would say is for people who have ADHD, they need to work very closely with their friends, their families, and their doctors in order to be successful with ADHD. It's an executive function disorder, and because it's an executive function disorder, you really need a lot of support structures around you in order to be successful with ADHD. And that's just the reality. I mean, you have an executive order problem, and it may be a superpower. It really can be. People who have ADHD can do tremendous work, but they still need the structure in their life. They still need the help to make sure that they can be successful. Otherwise, they won't be able to function. And, some people have very mild ADHD. They don't necessarily need meds. They don't necessarily need all the structures and all the boundaries. Some people who have more severe ADHD really need a lot of help. So it's a difficult thing. And I mean, I certainly understand him not wanting to be on meds, especially if they make him feel bad. But I think this is something that he needs to talk with his doctor about and explain the situation. And I think that it's unfair to put a burden on OP who married a very different person, and this person now is in a very different mental state than who they married. So I can't blame OP for being really frustrated with the situation, especially since he's not doing what he needs to do in order to, I guess, be successful, especially when they had something that was working before. So I think this is a really sad situation. I think that this is really tough, and the only advice I can have for OP here is go into group therapy with your husband and hope that the therapist can help to iron some stuff out. And I think that that's really where things need to either start or end. Yeah. So again, this is a tough situation. So I wish OP the very best of luck here. Take care. Not the jerk. Once someone's behavior starts being the detriment to others on a regular basis, it needs to be changed. While you shouldn't force your husband to take meds if he doesn't want to, he can't force you to stay with him if it's driving you nuts. I'm not going to tell you to divorce him because your wedding vows may have included in sickness and health, but unfortunately, he has to remember to uphold his side of the bargain. I don't think in sickness and in health includes one person unilaterally refusing any treatment options and making the life living H for other person expecting their spouse to take care of them. Some hardship with illness is normal, but dumping everything on the spouse is an abdication of his responsibility, in my opinion, which isn't what anyone signs up for in marriage. My girlfriend is ADHD and treated for it. She always tells me that my condition isn't my fault, but it is my responsibility. It sounds like OP's husband feels like it's not his fault and not his responsibility. I can understand her frustration. OP is definitely not the jerk. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Ho, ho, ho.